Right, hello. Basically, I'm in the kitchen, and as you can see, I've thought about this because I don't know if I'm going to be uploading one of the blogs that I've basically recorded, but I don't know yet. But I've decided to basically film this because basically I'm cooking. I'm preparing dinner. Some of it is already done and prepared already, but this is basically what I'm going to be having for my dinner now. It looks a bit horrible, some of the gravy in there. It's basically supposed to be potatoes in gravy. I'll need to skim part of that off because for some reason, I don't know why it does that. I'm not I don't know anything about food like some people, so I need to sort that out. In this one, we've got burgers in gravy. Again, I'm going to have to change the fat because it gets a bit fatty, and what we try and do, I will do that. I'm not having the burgers, but my dad is. My mum's going to have a little bit of chicken, which you can see there, basically, and there is some vegetables in there for mum, and there's potatoes, obviously, for mum and dad. We've already done some other bits and pieces, you know, there's some bits and pieces there that, you know, stuffing and, you know, bacon wrapped in, sausages wrapped in bacon. So yeah, there's a few things there basically that are going to be part of this dinner. However, two things that, you know, and although there is this problem that most people have, is getting fresh veg. We do use fresh veg. These obviously are not fresh, these are frozen, but there's no reason why you can't have frozen veg sometimes, because as I've heard from some top chefs, that it's not bad, it's not really that brilliant. There will also be on the menu British marrow fat processed peas. Oh yeah, and sadly carrots from a tin, which is about as you know, but you know, why complain? I mean, there's some vegetables there anyway, so it's not like you can complain if vegetables are being the norm. Now what I'll do is I'll leave this here. Hopefully, I don't know whether you'll be able to see me in action when I'm basically standing here just talking about what I plan to do. The time is nearly 1 o'clock, so I'm going to what we normally do. This is a good typical day on a Tuesday. We usually have gravy. We have, you know, things that are connected to meat and veg and things like that, you know. And what we normally do, and it's a very, very top tip that has always happened, but we like to prepare it so that basically all that has to do is get mostly heated up later on when we come to cook the rest of it. I will be doing some Yorkshire pudding mix now. Generally, I would like to show you that. So I guess what I can do is I can do that. I'll just show you basically if I move this out. Obviously, we're going to need a bowl. So, oh, crikey. Doesn't it just... So here we go, we've got a lovely bowl here that will form the basis of this Yorkshire pudding mix. It's a very good bowl, I have to admit. A very, very good bowl. Now, what you will need... yes, I hope you can basically hear me because I'm moving back and forth and so on. You will need 2 eggs. Now, I don't have any set recipe in terms of how many grams you will need, so bear in mind you might decide on yourself how many people will be having this recipe and how many people won't be, but simply you will need 2 eggs. You will also need plain flour. Now, I hate breaking eggs. Because, first of all, eggs are like, let's just say when I break an egg, normally I get shell in it. I don't know why, but there must be some reason of being able to break an egg without getting shell in it. When I do not get shell, when I break an egg and there's no shell in it, I always think to myself, how did I manage that? I've done something good. So, I like to give my bowl a clean or wipe. You never know. We have to make sure that it's nice and clean for when. So, I normally just basically break the eggs in first, because I know that if I get any shell in it, I can take it out and then won't have to worry about it being in the flour. So, break 2 eggs, as you do, and I tend to look at it, it's like an investigating egg. I look at it as if to see if there's any shell in it, basically. I can't see any in that one, so that's good. Break the other egg. Oh, do we have any shell? Because my mum always says there's no shell in it, and then sometimes I'm like, well, actually, you can't see if there is any shell. In this instance, it looks like I see some, but again, all it requires is just for me to take it out. And bingo. So there you go. I have a little bit of a look to see what we've got. So simple. You don't really need to know the ins and outs of this, right? Because it's a very simple recipe to make Yorkshire pudding, which is what I'm basically doing. So I have the 2 eggs put in there, followed by flour. Now, I'll probably get a spoon, which is about this big, and I probably will use about 5 spoonfuls for now, because, or maybe 6 will be the norm, right? Because first of all, the more flour you put in, the more milk you're going to have to add, and the more mix you're going to create, and therefore you're going to get too much mix. That's going to be, you know, useless. Useless is the word that I would use. And then all I simply do is put the milk in, which I obviously haven't done anything yet, but I would pour the milk in, and then I pour a good bit of milk, well, not a good bit of milk in, I'll probably, I don't have actually a measurement of that, but I will pour a couple of good bloods of milk in, 3 or 4, whatever, to start with, and then I'll mix it around, and as you'll see, it'll probably be more of a, it might not be the consistency you want, but what you do, you know, it will be a little bit, thick, more likely, so you just keep adding the mix, keep adding the milk in, basically, until you come up with the goods. So in this instance, where I'm adding the milk, as I said, a good glug, which, of course, that's what you do, and then simply just mix it around until you form a lovely mix. You need a really good mix. This is we're talking, it needs to be not too thick, and it doesn't need to be too thin, because we're not making a pancake here. An English pancake is made using the simple recipe of plain flour egg and milk. I can't stand, and this is going to be the last bit because I'm going to get on with the cooking bit in a minute, so I'm not really going to be showing you all the cooking things that I'm doing, but the thing I'm going to leave you with is I can't stand Yorkshire pudding. That basically, and I hate it so much, right? And you may do this yourself, but I can't stand Yorkshire pudding when it's messed about, right? You only need 3 ingredients. Water. Why do people put water in bloody Yorkshire pudding? What is the whole point of that? Really? Salt and pepper? Things like that? Huh? Rosemary, thyme, whatever they put in it. Oh my god. I can't stand it, right? You do not need it. A simple recipe for a batter mix that's going to make Yorkshire pudding should simply be egg, plain flour, milk. You don't need any more than that. What you use for the cooking method that goes in the oven, whether it's a cooking oil or a dripping fat, I don't care. That makes no sense. That doesn't matter to me. I just don't like the fact that people are going to start making this Yorkshire pudding mix and start adding a load of old crap, which is not needed basically, because this is traditional, and therefore it's a recipe that I've always used. I don't believe in any rubbish that should go basically into a Yorkshire pudding, because it's the way I am. And it might seem bland or plain to a lot of people, but I've always said that in many food, I like it to be plain just for the starters, because I don't always like food that's messed about with, and I like my food plain. And basically, by having it plain, you can add your own things after. So generally, when I make mashed potatoes, I put milk and butter in it. When I do Yorkshire pudding, I don't just put anything in it. But when I want to have something that's going to have a bit of taste to it, I want to add salt. I don't put salt in the cooking, I put it on the food when I'm eating it. So when it goes out onto my plate, and I see that I've got the mashed potatoes there, I've got the Yorkshire pudding, I've got the carrots and that, I will literally put the gravy over it and say, right, I'm going to have to put some salt on it to taste, obviously, rather than putting it in the cooking, and I've always done that. So basically that's what I do. But we all have personal preferences. I just don't like it when you have people that make mash and they put cheese in it or something like that, and and pepper, or they put like some whatever they put in it, and I'm like, don't do that. If you want to serve it with that in it, why don't you serve me some simple plain mash with milk and butter in it, and then the rest of the mash can be used for your own enjoyment, whatever you want to put in it. That way we all get what we want. So anyway, I'll leave it there. So bye for now.